Hello, I'm Hoagie, and today I'll be showing you how to make a Black Forest cheesecake. This is going to have the chocolate, coffee, graham cracker crust, and a white chocolate filling with cherries swirled in. I hope you enjoy. The first step to making the cheesecake is to make sure that you have all the necessary ingredients and tools that you may need. Something very important in making cheesecake is a springform pan. A springform pan is a pan that you do not have to dump the cake out of. You can release the sides, and this allows the cheesecake to stay together, and you can even serve directly on this pan. Additionally, this recipe calls for cooking the cheesecake. Some cheesecakes do not require cooking, it requires just sitting. To make sure the cheesecake stays moist, you want a broiler pan that you can set in the oven, fill with water. That way, it's like a humidifier. The water is evaporating into air, and the cake sucks it in, making it not dry out. And this gives you the very cheesecake texture that you'll want. So the next step that we will be doing is we'll get the oven ready. So we'll grab the basting pan and fill it half full of water. We will set this in the oven and turn to the required heating of 500 degrees. All right, now we want to put the basting pan of water onto the bottom drawer of the oven. We will start preheating the oven to 500 degrees, and now we can begin the next step. The next step that we will be completing is preparing the graham crackers for the crust. Now what you want to do is have a gallon-sized plastic Ziploc bag that you can place the graham crackers in for crushing. And just place a bunch in there. If you do not use all of them, you can save it inside the plastic bag for later. You will need 1 cup of graham crackers for the crust. And you can just use honey graham crackers, or if you want a different flavor, you can use different flavored graham crackers also. So we'll close this up. And then you can either have a hammer or just do it with your hands, start crushing it up. This is a really fun part of the steps. Now that the graham crackers are all crushed into a fine grain, we're going to start working with the chocolate morsels and butter. So get a large microwavable bowl. Your chocolate morsels in a measuring cup. This requires half a cup of chocolate morsels. Just put that open there. Throw this in the bowl. And we'll also be doing up the butter at the same time. This recipe calls for half a cup of butter, which is also the same as 1 stick of butter. So we're going to just put that in there. Throw away your trash. Now when you're microwaving morsels and butter, be careful because sometimes they retain their shape even though they're very warm. So we'll microwave this a little bit, and then we'll stir it, and then we'll double check what it looks like. Now, let's place this in the microwave for 1 minute. Whip all the morsels out. See how well they've melted? Oh yeah, they look nice and melted. You can sort of see how they retain their shape. So we're going to stir in, and see, they are really melted, even though they're retaining their shape. Now this step's ready. We'll move on to combining the graham crackers with this mixture, and also adding the coffee to the mixture as well. The next step is combining the coffee with water before mixing. That way it mixes more evenly. What I have here is individual packets of coffee. Since I'm not a coffee drinker, this way you don't have to buy a package of coffee. These come in small packages, so that way I'm wasting very little. We'll need half a teaspoon of coffee granules and 1 teaspoon of water. We'll stir that up, and then we'll combine that to the mixture here. So cut this package open here. Get small measuring cups, and then dump it in. Wipe the dry ingredient out of the measuring cup, and then move on to adding water. Like I said, 1 teaspoon of water, pour that in there, and now we'll get something to mix this up with. Now we have the coffee water mixture. Just make sure it's mixed in good. Just grab a normal spoon. Or if you want, you can use your finger. But just make sure it's mixed in there good. Dump that into the chocolate butter mixture. Just gives that a little extra taste. Now we're going to mix the graham crackers, brown sugar, and cinnamon into this mixture as well. For graham crackers, we need 1 cup of the crushed crumb. 1 cup, dump that in there. Dust the dry ingredients out with a dry towel. That way you can reuse it again. Liquid ingredients, sometimes you want to rinse depending on what the ingredient is. Water, you can just dry out. Oils, you want to use soapy water. Now I need 1/3 cup. Now we need 1/3 cup brown sugar. For brown sugar, you want to make sure it is packed down into the bowl to make it measure properly. So you pack that in here, 1/3 cup, dump that in. Again, clean out your items as you're going along, it makes it a little easier. Next up is we'll need a little bit of cinnamon. We'll need 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. So the measuring cup we use the water out of, dry that out so the cinnamon doesn't stick in there. Dump that in there. And you can also just wipe this out. However, at the end you'll want to wash your towel because it'll have cinnamon baked into it. Now that all our ingredients are added to the mixture, we will stir this up. Make sure it all combines good. chop up the brown sugar. Now that our mixture for the crust is done, we will add that into the springform pan. And you want to cover this up about an inch, that way you get the crust all around. Now this is a messy mixture, so you can just scoop this in with a spoon and then spread it out with your hands. Make sure to wash your hands afterwards. Set this in the sink. So right now we just have it in the center of the pan. We're going to spread that out evenly and about an inch up the side of the pan. It's alright, you don't have to have it perfect, it's just creating crust. And you'll pour your mixture into this. So set this down, wash your hands. Also good to fill the bowl with water, that way it's easier to clean out later. And then you can also dump other items that get messy and gooey into this, and it helps out the cleaning process of that. So throw this bowl in there also. Dry my hands off here before moving on to the next step.